Hey guys, so today I thought we would do a little laundry chat. We haven't done one of these videos in a while since I finished potty training Eren back over the summer. So I have been getting several video requests and like topic ideas to talk about how we transitioned the boys like into big boy beds or like into a room sharing together, or like just how we did that whole situation. And I don't know what has sparked that curiosity, but like I've had a lot of people ask me that question, so I thought we would just do a casual little video where I'm just folding up the boys' laundry here and talking to you guys about how we transitioned the boys into a room together. So this was many months ago. I feel like it might have been like at the beginning of this year, maybe, that we started putting them together in one room. So Eren had his crib in like the nursery room and Calvin had his big boy bed, and we joined them together in the old nursery room to turn Calvin's old room into the new baby room. Because I mean, I wasn't pregnant. We weren't really even thinking about trying that early, but we knew we wanted to have a third baby, and so we knew we would need that room eventually. So we just thought, okay, let's just put the boys together because it was time to get Eren out of his crib, and we just thought it would be easier instead of like transitioning Eren out of the crib into his own bed and then eventually a few months later bringing brother into the room as well. We thought we'd just do it all at once, put Eren in a big bed with Calvin also in a big bed together in the same room. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about what we did when Calvin was little and Calvin was ready to move into his own big bed, when there was no Eren yet. It was just Calvin in the crib, and we had to do it because Calvin was escaping from the crib. Calvin was trying to get out, climbing out of the crib, and he could have hurt himself. You know, it was becoming a safety issue. We needed to get him out of that room, out of that crib, so that he wouldn't get hurt trying to get in and out of the crib. And he was about 20 months old at that time. Eren was born when Cal was like 22 months old, so it just so happened to work out perfectly. We didn't have to kick out Calvin when new brother came or anything. It just so happened to work that Calvin needed out of that crib at 20 months, and then Eren came at 22 months. And even though Eren did sleep in our room for the first 2 or 3 months or something in a little bassinet, we wouldn't have needed the crib that early, but it was just nice to get it all settled before brother even came into the picture and started making things complicated and stressful. So it worked out perfectly, but it just naturally happened that way. Now, Calvin was so easy. I was so afraid to move Calvin into a big boy bed. I really didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be impossible to get him to fall asleep. I thought it was just gonna be like the most stressful situation in the world, but Calvin was so easy. Calvin was super easy moving into a big boy bed. We put him in the other room, so we left the nursery all as it was because brother was on the way, and we gave Cal his own new little room, and he actually had a big like full-size bed. It was my old bed when I lived at home that just so happened to be in that room. That's the bed that we put Calvin in. We put some railings up on like the foot and the side and then like pushed it into the corner so all sides were covered so he wasn't gonna like fall out of the bed, you know? But that's just the bed that we had in our house. We didn't buy a specific toddler bed or anything super low to the ground or anything. That's just the bed that we had, and so that's what we used for him. And so in that new room for Calvin, we kept a bookshelf. It had all of the kids, or a lot of the kids' books on that bookshelf, and Calvin knew that he could read any of those books that he wanted. I think that's the thing that really helped. I know some people say like don't leave things in there to distract them, but I think letting him have roam of the room and letting him know that he could read the books if he wanted to, look at the books if he wanted to, and know that he just had his own little space and he could do whatever he wanted in, I think that really helped Calvin in particular. But Calvin has always been a very independent little boy. He's always just done his own thing, and so I think for him, as an individual person, that was the best decision for him, to be able to have the books and read them. He would sit in his little bed and just look through book after book after book for, you know, maybe half an hour or something before he finally laid down and went to sleep. And he was, like I said, he was so easy. He just got it. He just was totally cool with being in his own room you know, we would still do the whole nighttime routine. Everything was the same. All the nighttime stuff was the same, you know, taking a bath and brushing our teeth and getting in our jammies. And then we would all lay down in the bed and read a book together. And then he would lay down and we would let him have any books that he wanted, or he could get up and go get more books that he wanted. And so all the routine was the same. Just the addition of being able to read those books was really the only like change in his routine at night. You know, we weren't trying to force him to go straight to bed. We told him it was okay if he wanted to stay up for a little bit to read the books. Now I know that might sound like a terrible idea for your particular kiddo. That might be something that would totally distract another kid or totally, you know, throw somebody else off balance. But for Calvin in particular, that was the key. That was the secret to getting him okay with going to sleep by himself. I have no idea why. I don't know, but it just happened to work out that way with him. Now, as far as like the logistics of the room, we had a nightlight in there. The door was shut. We had a monitor in there, so one of those like camera monitors, so me and my husband could watch him and see what he's up to. So yeah, Calvin was awesome. Calvin was super easy putting into his own room. My number one tip would be just do it, you know. Don't think too much about it. If you're thinking about getting baby out of the crib and putting them in their own little toddler bed, just jump in and do it. Just go ahead and go for it. And don't look back, you know, do it all at once. Don't like try to make it a big process. Don't like, you know, one night in the crib and one night in the bed, you know, like just do it. Just stick to it and do it. That's my recommendation. That's what worked with Calvin. And we didn't really do it that way with Eren, and I wonder if maybe that was an issue why Eren was a little more difficult. So let's just talk a little bit about Eren's little personality. Eren is a totally completely different person than Calvin is. Like I said, Calvin's always been super duper independent and his own little guy. Eren is a very clingy, mama's boy, just clingy kind of person. That's the best way I can describe him. And so he just has a totally different personality than Calvin did. So transitioning Eren into a big boy bed was a totally different story. Now Eren was more like 23-ish months, and I don't remember if he was really climbing out of bed, out of the crib, but he was just seeming like he could start doing that any day. And so that's why we decided it was probably time to get him out of the crib and into a big boy bed. And we did try doing it more gradually. So we started off with like taking the crib itself out, but just leaving the mattress on the floor and letting him try to sleep on the floor on the mattress in the same spot where the crib was, in the same room and everything. And he would just always get up and bang on the door and try to escape and like just not understand the concept, which was so weird for him because he was always such a good sleeper. He was never like whiny and fussy and bad about bedtime. He was always super good. You would lay him down in his crib and he would just like go to sleep so well. So it was totally weird that like once you put him on the mattress without the crib, it was just totally a different story. So then we thought, me and my husband, really, we were kind of like being cheapskates. We really didn't want to buy two, you know, twin size beds or whatever. Are those twins single, you know, like the little kid kind of regular size beds, you know, like one person sleeps in it. But we really didn't want to have to buy two new ones. I don't know, we were just being like total cheapskates. So we tried putting the boys into that big twin size bed that was in Calvin's room. So for Eren, he was in a new bed, sharing it with someone he usually didn't have to share a bed with, and he was in a different room. It was all just a lot of differences, I think, and he didn't like the big bed idea either. So I feel like the big bed, them sharing a big bed, was a little bit easier than just putting Eren on the floor all by himself. But at the same time, it was still just like too much change all at once for Eren. So we figured, okay, let's keep one thing constant. So let's do just in his room. Let's not try to switch rooms on him. Let's just put him back in his room, and we'll move Calvin over into Eren's old room, which is the old nursery room, but it's the bigger of the two bedrooms, the kids' rooms. It's the bigger of the 2 kids' rooms. And we would just turn Calvin's old room, the smaller room, into the nursery this time for next baby. We weren't pregnant or trying or anything at that time, but we knew we wanted another baby. So we finally put them both in the one room. My husband got a bed, just a single, little bed for Eren, and we tried fitting that little bed with the big twin bed in that bedroom. So Calvin would have the twin bed, his regular bed, or not the twin. Is it a twin? I don't know what it's called. Like a double. Okay, Calvin's is like a double. It's not quite a queen, and Eren's is like the single little bed. So we tried fitting both of those into the bedroom, into the old nursery, into Eren's room, and it was just too much. It wasn't gonna work. So we had to buy another little bed, so they both have little regular single size beds. We had to end up buying another one. So we did have 2 little beds, and we put them both in there, and it all worked out fine eventually. We just should have done that from the start. We should have not been such cheapskates trying to make them sleep in the same bed. We should have not tried to change Eren's room, because we knew we wanted them in the bigger room anyway. The baby wouldn't need that whole big room. We knew we were going to put the baby in the smaller of the 2 rooms anyway. We should have just bought them both the beds, put them in Eren's room, and done it from there. We shouldn't have tried the mattress on the floor. We shouldn't have tried moving to brother's room. I feel like we made a lot of mistakes with Eren, and Eren already probably would have been difficult to get out of the crib anyway. So we just totally messed that one up. Calvin went so perfectly, and then when it was time to move Eren, it was just a big giant mess. So yeah, I think maybe we've learned some mistakes along the way when we had to move the second time around, because like I said, Calvin was so easy to get into the big boy bed. I thought it was gonna be easy peasy with Eren, but that was definitely not the case. But also, it's not just Eren's fault, it's totally our fault too, because we just did some stupid things trying to move him anyway. Okay, so I do have a couple little random tips here at the end about just generally speaking, what kind of stuff should you be thinking about if you're trying to transition kiddos. First of all, of course, you want to praise them in the morning if they sleep through the night in their own room, or at least the majority of the night, or if they are just really good about bedtime the night before. Make sure you're telling them that they're doing awesome the next morning, right? That'll make them excited to continue making you happy and getting the praise in the morning, right? So we all know that positive reinforcement is the best. Next would be to keep the bedtime routine the same. So that I think is kind of a given. That one's a little bit more easy, take a bath at the same time and read a book at the same time and do whatever your routine is for bedtime, all the same as usual. And make sure you tell them that they're a big kid now and it's super exciting. You gotta be super excited about having your own big kid bed and OMG, it's the best thing ever, so you gotta be super excited at morning time and super excited at bedtime as well. Don't go switching back and forth. Just do whatever the final situation you want is, just do that right off the bat. Don't try to transition it. Don't try to add extra steps in there. If you want them to be in this particular room with this sibling or whatever, do that from the beginning. Don't try to wiggle your way over to that final situation. So yeah, those are my tips. That's our story about how we got the boys in the same room and how it was not fun at all. Like I said, it was several months ago. I should have filmed this video when we were in the midst of it, but I've just been getting a lot of requests about different things like that. Other people have also been asking me about what we're going to do for baby number 3. So Calvin and Eren are already in their own room together, sharing a room for several months now. Baby will have their own room, but baby will be sleeping in our room for the first couple of months anyway, so it's not like we needed to have had it done super early or on any kind of time limit or whatever. It's already been done before we even started trying or thinking about trying or anything. So we're just super lucky the way that everything has worked out as far as the timing of everything, the timing, the spacing of the kids and the timing of who's ready to get out of the crib and stuff like that. So it's all worked out really, really well for us. So if we end up only having 3 kiddos, this is probably the situation that will last until we move out of this house, with Calvin and Eren sharing a room and baby number 3 having their own room. But if we end up having a 4th kiddo, if this pregnancy goes well, I do still want to have a 4th, hopefully. And if we have a 4th kiddo, I think we'll just have to cross that bridge when we come to it, because I just don't know exactly. Like, I would think, like, you know, just off the top of my head, if we ended up having 2 girls and we had our 2 boys, the girls would share a room and the boys would share a room. If we had like 2 boys and 2 boys, the 2 boys, the new boys would share a room and the 2 older boys would share a room. But if we ended up having like a girl and a boy for 3 and 4, they would probably only share a room for a certain amount of time until they start getting bigger, you know? But the whole question about, you know, what we would do if we had 4 kids and who would sleep with who, I have no idea. We'll just have to see how it goes and how everything turns out if we do end up getting to have the 4 kiddos that we've always wanted to have. And that just all depends on how dumb the rest of this pregnancy is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video here. It looks like it's gonna be really long. I can't believe I talked this long about transitioning the boys into different beds. But I hope you enjoyed it. For everybody who's been asking about it, thank you for asking, and keep coming with the video requests and different topics and stuff you guys want me to talk about. So I think we're getting to the end of Vlogmas here as this video goes up. So I hope you have been enjoying a video every day, December 1st through 25th. Give this video a thumbs up if you did find anything at all kind of helpful. And let me know your tips for transitioning your kiddos into bigger beds down in the comments below. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.